Hello, and welcome to the Community IT Innovators Technology Topics Podcast, where we discuss nonprofit technology, cybersecurity, tech project implementation, strategic planning, and nonprofit IT careers. Find us at communityit.com.
Hello, and welcome to Community IT Voices, a series featuring interviews with nonprofit IT professionals. In this series, we will talk about nonprofit technology career paths, career resources, skills, and certifications. We will also touch on mentoring opportunities as you start out your career and ways to give back if you are further along. So, my name is Carolyn, and I am interviewing Sarah Wolfe with Community IT. And if you could just tell me your title and the years that you've been at Community IT.
Yeah, I am the accounts associate at Community IT, and I joined in March 2018. So we are about to come up on my anniversary.
Yay! What are your responsibilities? And when people ask you what you do, what do you say?
The way to shortcut to what my duties are is I tend to say that I am a client wrangler for Community IT. So as an accounts associate, I do non-technical account management and customer service work, and I also do sales inquiries. And so, a lot of it is making sure that people understand the agreements that they have with us, making sure that our, processes are working right, and connecting people with, um, the solutions that they need if they're having trouble.
All right, great. What a cool job. Although that sounds like about what you do on a typical day. What are the best things about your job at Community IT?
I think that the best thing about my job is that every day is a little different, and I'm in a position where I really do get to know everybody at
Mm-hmm.
the company, and I get to know a bunch of the primary contacts at our clients. Um, I also really enjoy the sales process. Having people come to us being like, "We have this IT problem. Can you help?" And being like, "Absolutely. Like, let's take that IT hat, all of those troubles. We'll take them for you. We'll make sure that, you get the systems you need so you can worry about whatever the actual job title at your work is or whatever you want to focus on." Because yeah, that's one of the things we see a lot is, oh, it's the chief operating person who's like, well, like, I don't know anything about IT, but I'm supposed to be in charge of all this stuff. And I'm like,
Right.
gotcha.
Right. That must be so great to be able to be so reassuring.
hmm
All right. So the next question is, what's something about your job that we probably don't know that you'd like others to know?
So there's a lot of data crunching, actually.
Huh.
Specifically on the account management end, I do a lot of the um, like background invoicing checks and keep track of our customer satisfaction reports and sort of help with metrics and pulling reports around that kind of stuff, which is really fun. Like, I'm not somebody who considers myself like a super math person, but like getting to dig down into the patterns that you see in, how responses go or what problems are coming up and how people are responding to them. It's a lot of fun. Um,
That is totally something I would not have thought of. Because you think account management, you think you're on the phone all day with all of the clients, but that's really interesting.
yeah.
I want to take you back a little bit and ask, why did you apply to Community IT, and what was it about Community IT that inspired you to put your resume in?
Yeah. So, I was actually a teacher before this. I was working at a small private school run by a charity. And um, in the best possible way, our funding ran out because we did not have enough enough students that required the specialized support that we were giving. Um, because their actual community schools had like gotten their act together, which is great, like great. But that meant that I was out of a job come December 2017. And I'd been a teacher at various different schools, middle school and high school for like 10 years around the Maryland area, and had worked at a um, nature education center, but like had come back to teaching, but then realized, you know what, I think this is the signal that maybe I should find another career, because the idea of jumping in mid-year at a normal school was just, I was just like, you know what, I think it's time. And I actually had a friend, a very good friend, who was working here and had been raving about community IT for years and years, and kept on being like, "We have a job opening. Do you want to apply?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm happy here." And then like finally he was like, "Hey, we have got a job opening for an account associate. I know you're looking. Please come be my coworker. Like we're really awesome." And like he had already told me all about the ESOP, the fact that we're employee owners and that we worked for nonprofits. And that like really, you're a teacher and you want, like, that's a very civil servant sort of oriented um, career, and like that was a huge part of my identity at that point. So, being able to transition to, okay, I'm not, in a school, I'm not in a nonprofit, but I'm helping all of these people with their really amazing missions. So this is still a way for me to give back to the community and, fulfill that need in
I
myself.
love it. I love it. I think there are a lot of people at Community IT who feel that sense of service,
Mhm.
which can be odd at I mean, it's a for-profit, but like an employee-owned organization.
Yeah.
Um, can you cast your mind back or think about now that you're almost at your anniversary? Do you think that there's something about you that helped you get the job at Community IT that that made you a good fit?
Yeah. So, thinking back on it and looking at, seeing how our community as a staff is so tight knit and very open. Um, I am, as you've probably seen, rather, outgoing, and I really enjoy connecting with other people. And as, a teacher, I also have I came in with a bunch of, conversation management tools. And so, de-escalating, active listening, all of those kinds of things, and, you make a lot of rapid decision making on your feet as a teacher. And so all of those things are, good skills to have as
So,
somebody.
hearing about your career path of being a teacher and coming to it that way, I'm interested in this next question, which is um, if you were talking to someone, say in high school, about what skills and experiences they should work on to work at a place like Community IT, what would you tell them?
I think especially at the high school level, take a class in public speaking.
Uh huh.
I never did that until after I got out of college and was starting to do like in teacher training, um, or teacher certification. Uh, yeah, public speaking, honestly, never did it, but debate would also be a really good idea, because that allows you to really categorize and organize your thoughts, um, and present them in a way that, one, like confidence in presentation is huge,
Hmm.
as well as just being organized enough to have the information you need or information that comes up at your fingertips. Um, and yeah, also, I'm gonna be frank, like as a woman, like the idea of like speaking confidently about something, it's it's been a challenge to overcome all of that, behavioral training that you have, growing up being like, shh, don't make a scene, you know, speak, but, don't be overconfident, and your sentences with an uptick so that
Yeah.
it's like questioning,
Yeah.
you know, all of that. Like, do the work to break yourself of those habits. Um, find somebody that can mentor you in those things and can model really good behavior for you. Um, at Community IT, I'm very happy that aren't a s- we don't have a stereotypical sales approach. A lot of our clients are word of mouth and things like that, so I do not have to do cold calling, which is
Mhm.
amazing. Um, but also like actually still taking a class, like getting the fundamentals of sales is a good idea, just to figure out the proper, you know, not buzzwords, but like, word making good word choice and phrasing, all of that kind of stuff. Like you gain it with experience, but also like finding things to key into and um, focus on are really good.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And, try and manage a bunch of kids and get them to learn about something, and you pick up you pick up some tips and tricks. So,
Oh.
yeah.
I think I may have already covered this a little bit, but what is one thing that you thought you knew about the job when you started it, an account manager, that it turned out you were really wrong about?
I definitely thought I was going to be on the phone dealing with like a lot of these like oh, I'm confused about this, or oh, I have questions about that, and like really spending a lot of time explaining things to people, or putting out fires. But our help desk is awesome. Like I love the service desk, and like the amount of like we have some hardcore fans of some of our help desk analysts, and you know my supervisor, and like as part of our processes is making sure that we communicate enough ahead of time and do the change management ahead of time, so that there aren't a lot of wait, what, I thought this, like issues coming up. And so it's really nice to not have to deal with those kinds of issues as often.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
That kind of leads directly into my next question, which is if you had a friend or a colleague at a different organization who was maybe not finding support or not feeling fulfilled in what they were doing. Can you talk a little bit about like where do you turn for encouragement? How did you find mentors and training that you needed for the nonprofit technology job that you have?
Yeah. So as hard as it is to do, and as much as people hate doing it, networking, creating professional level contacts, um, is really helpful. So within community IT, like I have people that I'm just a little bit closer to. And so if I'm having an issue with anything, reaching out to make sure that, it's not just you is really big. And also, they can sometimes give you perspective or background on a situation that you find yourself in that helps clarify what's going on. Um, in terms of finding mentors, if there isn't somebody available in the company that you're working with, finding people in the area that you're in that you look up to and connecting with them, it's super daunting. But, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, like try reach out to people and they will respond. Um, I have, I neglected my LinkedIn for years and years and years. I was like, I'm a teacher, it's fine, whatever. But like I've just been, in the last 6 months to a year, I've been, trying to make more connections outside of like my friends' friends and like my work people. Um, and I've met some really amazing people that way. Um, and then in terms of training, Community IT has been really great about being like, yeah, like we have partnerships with N10 and, for and a couple of the different vendors that we use. I know Tech Impact has trainings, Channel Partners does trainings. So being part of a membership organization that can give you discounts on those kinds of things, as well as I honestly, when I was like, I think I need to learn a little bit more about sales, I just Googled it and like found, pretty good, pretty good sources.
Some
Uh,
resources.
Yeah. And, it's one of those things, I'm not technical, but our company uses ITIL ITIL. So, getting a foundation in that is not a bad idea. That's one of the things
Right,
I'm considering right now. So,
right. That makes sense. Did you have any doubts about joining community IT? I know you said you had a friend who
yeah.
was just loved it so much. So, but after now that you worked here, what would you say to someone who was having doubts about nonprofit technology or sales or accounting or anything?
Um, I am so glad I found myself here. And, for somebody joining community IT, I'd be like, like, look, we're not gonna if you're looking to just make money and make sales, like, okay, we're not necessarily the place for you because we're so mission focused and, community oriented. But if you're trying to like really feel connected with your coworkers and feel like devoted to a worthy mission and, feel supported in everything that you do, like we're really great. uh, And, I came from a non-technical background. Like, yeah, I taught comp sci to middle schoolers. Like, yes, keyboarding and, basics of programming, but that's like, just
Right.
teach them to drag and drop things. Um, but yeah, like find some place that has a history and a vibe that welcomes learning and welcomes growth. Um, And yeah, one of the other things that was like a real key and I was talking with my friend and he used to come from education and like there were several other people higher up in the organization that also made that change and like there are a lot of people that transitioned into tech by coming to community IT. And as long as you're really good at critical thinking and analytic skills and learning and being open to learning new things, it's a great field. I hope
And
that answered the question. I may
I
have,
think
like,
so.
ended up in left field a little bit, but
No, I love it. I love it. That was exactly. That's a great field and it's a great company. So I guess I was going to ask you when people ask you, what do you do? What do you say? But you already answered that at the beginning. But I wonder when people ask you what community IT does, what do you say?
I say that community IT helps nonprofits not worry about IT. Making sure that they have the tools that they need for their workers to do what they need to do now, but also providing the proactive support, planning, strategic thinking to make sure that there's nothing that catches them off guard, you know, 2, 3, 5 years down the road, and let them focus on what they need to do.
Right. As nonprofits.
Mhm.
Thank you so, so much for your time today. This was just a lovely interview and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. No, this was fun. Um,
Community IT does these free webinars and podcasts for our community, and we love sharing our knowledge and experience. If you have more questions or are having trouble with your IT at your nonprofit, please get in touch with us on our website, www.communityit.com, so we can start a conversation. or schedule an assessment. Downloading any of our free resources there will get you signed up for our webinar reminders, and you can attend our next webinar in real time and ask our experts your own questions. If you love podcasts, please subscribe and leave us a rating to help others find this leadership resource for nonprofits.